witnesses are in person. Members have the option to appear either in person or virtually. Every day, Americans get up, go to work, and do their jobs. But as we know this week, our Republican colleagues refused to do theirs. On Tuesday, this committee met to vote on 5 outstanding nominees for the Federal Reserve. Republicans didn't show up, not a one. Instead, they went AWOL in the fight against inflation. At this pivotal moment in our economic recovery, everyone understands we need a full Federal Reserve Board. It would be the first time in nearly a decade where all 7 confirmed members sat at the Fed to help tackle inflation. Republicans have no solutions, only political stunts. Americans don't want more political theatrics. They want actions and solutions to bring down costs. We will not stop fighting for these nominees. These nominees, let me just tell you what they've all done. They've met with every senator, every single senator who asked for a meeting, on committee, off the committee. They met with committee staff, majority and minority. They offered to meet with many of my colleagues who refused to meet with them, and some of them then boycotted the vote. They answered every question posed to them at the hearing. They answered every question submitted for the record, more than 200 of them in a timely manner. One nominee even answered questions submitted after the deadline. If we're going to continue growing our economy, we need all 7 governors in place. We need these professionals working and debating and making decisions about monetary policy and interest rates and jobs and tackling inflation. I implore my Republican colleagues to show up and vote. Vote yes, vote no, just show up and vote. It's your job. I implore, and the American people expect, for you to do your jobs just like they do every day. Let me read a few headlines from the past few weeks. Strong jobs report shows resilient economy. January jobs report crushes expectations. Biden sets first-year record with 6.6 million jobs added. In my state, long derided as the Rust Belt, Ohioans have been waking up to headlines like these. Intel picks Ohio for largest chip factory in the world. Hyperion Fuel Cell Company to open largest Columbus factory in a decade. GE Aviation lands $6.8 billion engine deal in sign of rebound from pandemic. Intel's investment, game changer for Ohio jobs. America is in the midst of unprecedented economic growth. Our GDP grew by 5.7% last year, the strongest annual growth in 40 years. For the first time in 2 decades, and this is, I think, particularly significant, our economy grew faster than the economy of China. Job creation hit an all-time high. We added 6.4 million jobs last year, an average of more than 500,000 jobs every single month. We saw the fastest drop ever in the unemployment rate. American entrepreneurs started more than 5 million new businesses in 2021, another record. Raw job numbers, of course, don't tell the whole story. They don't tell you how good the job is, what kind of wage it pays. On that front, though, the news is perhaps even better. Wages are rising, particularly for hourly workers who've been left behind in past economic recoveries. Workers are finally starting to share in more of the economic growth that they create. American families' disposable incomes were higher in 2021 than they were before the pandemic, even adjusting for inflation. Assistant Secretary of Treasury Ben Harris said 2 weeks ago, household balance sheets were exceptionally healthy, due in part to the American Rescue Plan, other government pandemic assistance, and brisk wage growth. This progress was possible because of the American Rescue Plan. We promised shots in arms, money in pockets, workers back on the job, and the American Rescue Plan delivered. We know the challenges made. For the progress we've made, we can't deny that many of the people we serve say they don't feel it. People are exhausted. They're tired of this pandemic. They're tired of the anxiety. They're tired of the way it's divided neighbors and divided schools and divided families. The number one thing we do to improve our economy, improve people's lives, is to defeat this pandemic. And we are on the right course. Cases and hospitalizations are dropping. Because of the American Rescue Plan, great majority of Americans are now vaccinated. Everyone can get a booster shot. We no longer have to live in fear. We also know the pandemic has caused inflation to run too high. Workers feel it every time they go to the grocery store. Inflation's a real problem, and one that we as a country need to address directly. It's all the more reason why we need a full Federal Reserve Board. Pandemics revealed our supply chains are too long and too fragile. It causes higher prices in some industries. No one wants to have to go to 3 different stores to get their shopping done or to have every option they try to buy on back order for months. It's maddening, it's draining, it's frustrating for the American public. We know how to fix it. You make more things in America. For too long, our trade policy, our tax policy have encouraged corporations to move production overseas. It's cost us millions of jobs, especially in the states of Pennsylvania and Ohio. It's contributing to our supply chain problems today. It's time to bring these supply chains back home. The House and Senate have passed bills to spur domestic manufacturing and research and development. They will allow us to better compete with countries like China. They'd support the production of key inputs like semiconductors. We should put a comprehensive bill on the president's desk soon. We also took an important step to speed up our supply chain by passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill to improve our roads and our bridges and ports, making it easier and more efficient for American manufacturers to get products to market. As important as these steps are, government is not the only actor here. Corporate consolidation is reducing competition, giving consumers fewer choices and workers fewer options. Nobody explains better in the meatpacking industry than my colleague from Montana, Senator Tester, what's happened there. Too often corporations increase prices while cutting an even larger check for executives and shareholders. The Wall Street Journal tells us that two-thirds of the largest publicly traded companies reported larger profits in 2021 than they did in 2019. In recent weeks, CEOs have bragged to Wall Street about their ability to increase prices on consumers. Let's be clear, raising prices is a choice, is a decision that corporations make. They could make a different choice. They could reduce the amount of stock buybacks. Millionaire executives could actually take a bit of a pay cut or even just get a smaller raise this year. But there's nothing forcing them to make a better choice because there isn't enough competition in the economy. We need an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top. We can't declare the recovery complete until all workers can find a job that pays them fair wages, that treats them with dignity, and that allows them to keep up with the cost of living. Today, we'll hear from all three members of the President's Council of Economic Advisors, Chair Rouse, Dr. Bernstein, Dr. Boucher. These are skilled economists who understand that behind all the charts and models and tables are real people with hopes, dreams, and ambition. As Chair Rouse said in January, the actions that the Biden administration have taken led, quote, to unprecedented improvement in our economy and important investments made in its future productive capacity. I look forward to hearing more about this year of unprecedented growth, the current state of the economy, and plans to continue this expansion. Ranking Member Toomey.